questions as Seyed Hadi is presenting. Now I would like to introduce Seyed Hadi Yassin. Assalamu alaikum, Seyed. Thank you so much for joining. Just a quick bio on Seyed Hadi Yassin. So in 1996, Hujjatul Islam Seyed Hadi Yassin began his formal Islamic education in the Mashhad Seminary in Iran. During his seminary program, he attained 2 bachelor degrees, one in Quranic sciences and tradition, and the other in fundamentals of Islamic jurisprudence. In 2009, he undertook a master's program in psychology with an emphasis in child development. Since then, he has been engaged in many projects at various institutions related to this field. He is the founding editor of the Psychology Student Research Journal under the supervision of Cal State University San Bernardino Department of Psychology. He is also a certified professional coach specializing in children, parenting, and relationships. He is the founder of Hadi Life Coaching, providing services for clients nationwide. In addition, he has conducted a vast amount of research on relationships and marriage. His focus has been on working with children and families with special needs. He served as the Associate Clinical Supervisor at California Psych Care, assisting families with autistic children. As an Islamic scholar, Seyed Hadi Yassin understands the complexities and challenges associated with minority groups living in the US. He has worked as a leader and motivational speaker in many diverse environments across cultural backgrounds in hopes of finding solutions for some of the rising issues among such communities. Currently, he is completing his doctoral degree in clinical psychology. So today, Seyed Hadi Yassin's topic will be about how to improve the dynamic of the family during this specific time during COVID season, how to manage your emotions such as anger, stress, anxiety, depression, all of the emotions that come with this stressful time, how to establish quality time with your family members, and how to solve conflicts with your family members. So with that being said, I would like to invite Seyed Hadi Yassin to start his presentation.
Thank you so much, sister. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة لأعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. May Allah, inshallah, bless all of you and protect you under His blessings and protection, inshallah. It's an honor, tawfiq, to be with you all, inshallah, at this moment and share a few points and a few experience with you regarding the family and the structure of the family, the importance of the family, which is important all time, not just during this current situation. But of course, nowadays, a lot of people, because they have more time to think about themselves, to think about their families, and they can ponder more about the structure of the family, spending more time with each other, they have more question. They have more realization of the importance of the family, the structure of the family. So inshallah, we're going to start our topic and go through different aspects of the components of families, and inshallah how we can have a better relationship with family members and the whole dynamic of the family together. If you recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah. I have a slide I would like to share with you guys, inshallah, if I am able to. So I hope you can see my screen. Can you? Someone tell me that, inshallah, you can see my screen.
Yes, Seyed, we're able to see your screen.
All right. Can you see the next page?
Yes.
All right. Just want to make sure that you can see it so we can follow the slide. And can you see me as well or no?
Yes, we can see you as well.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure that we have all said, inshallah. All right. So, yes, the topic that we have today, we're going to follow, inshallah, is the topic of family matter and how to strengthen our family bonds and the relationship among all family members. First and foremost, I have a beautiful hadith from Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like other hadiths that we have. He said, إذا أراد الله بأهله بيتا خيرا فقههم في الدين ووقر صغيرهم كبيرهم ورزقهم الرفق في معيشتهم والقصد في نفقاتهم وبصرهم عيوبهم فيتوب منها. When Allah wants a khair for a family, it's very interesting. When Allah wants a khair and good for a family, what would He do? He will make them to be knowledgeable in deen. I want you to pay attention, because no one knows better than knows about psychology of family better than Rasulullah. That's definitely sure. And he said that the best khair for the family members is to know religion. فقههم فقاهة فقيه. They have knowledge about their deen. And I want you to pay attention. What is a relationship between having knowledge in deen and having khair in the family? Khair in the family means, we're going to talk about it, the relationship between family members in peace and tranquility and having a good relationship. But interestingly, the khair, what comes with knowing deen. If you know deen, you know how to relate and how to talk to other people. And then the other thing is that those who are younger ones would respect in that household the older ones, parents, grandparents, others, older ones, siblings. They get along with each other, and they will be moderate in their expenses. All family members together, they have this, effort towards making it a whole family effort and observing the whole situation. A wife, a husband, children, they don't take advantage of the situation. And Allah makes them aware of their deficiencies so they can repent and fix those problems. This is an interesting point to see how Ahlul Bayt, they viewed successful families. From their perspective and from Allah's perspective, ultimately, a successful family is not necessarily a family who has a lot of money, a family who just the relationship is in a good status. No, it's a combination of different aspects that they mentioned. But if I want to share my little bit of knowledge and experience with you, if you want to have a successful family, you need to have successful portions of the family. And the first and foremost is marriage in the family. I have never seen any successful family with all aspects of success unless husband and wife and mother and father, they have a good relationship with each other. Any clients I had that, there was issue between children and parents and the dynamic of the family had problem, any of them, almost 100%, they had issue in the marriage, husband and wife. So it's a prerequisite that if we want to have a good family, nowadays, some people might have felt it, that they might have more problem nowadays during the self-shelter or quarantine, because the marriage has some issues when it comes to parenting, for example, or to the whole relationship with the family. Mom and dad, parents are not on the same page. So the first aspect and the most component of a family, what do you say is marriage, because family starts with marriage, right? So, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran, in our traditions, we have tremendous, traditions, and we have ayat of Quran talking about the importance of what? The importance of marriage, because that's the beginning of what? Of family. آية قرآن سورة روم آية 21 بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها. This is a doctrine, I always say, a doctrine of marriage. Among the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's very interesting. Among the signs of Allah, what is among the signs of Allah? That He created for you from yourselves mates, your husband and wife, men and women. No one is better than the other one, from the same soul. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. It's not just I'm a man, I'm better than the woman, or is a woman is better than a man. No, the same in creation. So He created you husband and wife, men and women, male and female. You may find tranquility. لَتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. The purpose of marriage, the purpose of having a family, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this ayah, tranquility and peace. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً رَحْمَةً. Ya Allah, I need some tools. What are the tools? And He said, yes, and He placed between you affection and mercy. Mawaddah wa rahmah. Love, more than love, and mercy that he created himself. Indeed, in that are signs for people who reflect. So pay attention here. If I want to have Qur'ani family, if I want to have Ilahi family, if I want to have Islamic family, I have to see if I have peace in that family or not. Yes, during quarantine as well. I know it's very tough. We don't go out. Children are around us all the time, little one or younger one, teenagers. I know it gets so tough sometimes, but the peace and tranquility is number one, the signs of, a successful Ilahi family that we're going to talk about it, how we can create that, inshallah. How can we achieve this love and affection? What can we do in order, again, for the sake of marriage, which result in a better family, mom and dad? And I specifically encourage those who are younger ones that just got married or they want to get married, pay attention carefully, because it's better to start a relationship with success better than following and down the line having issues, right? So in order to have a successful, marriage or family, in order, we need 4 pillars here. Number 1, spiritual growth and self-improvement. Second, gaining knowledge and experience, then seeking advice before and after marriage, and marital satisfaction. Let's see what we're talking about. Hadith says, "Ma buniya fil Islam bana'un ahabbu ila Allah azza wa jalla wa azzu min at-tazwij." There's no construction has been built in Islam better and more beloved in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than marriage. What are we talking about? The first component of a successful family is a successful marriage, right? So there's nothing better than the sight of Allah than a marriage. Then what's going to happen? Then the foundation of this building should be strong. The foundation of a family is mom and dad, is husband and wife, brothers and sisters. This is the foundation. If we strengthen this foundation, we can build upon this foundation. If the foundation is weak, it might cause a lot of issues and problems. So the spiritual growth, what are we talking about? Anything you do in this world, you look for improvement. If you start, going to college, to university, each semester, each time, you would like to see that you're improving, you're gaining more knowledge. Am I correct? If you're having a job, you're looking to have a better financial situation, right? Anything we do, if I want to do a project, I want to see that there's a result in the project. If I am getting married, if I am having a family, I want to see that that is helping for me to grow, first and foremost, spiritually. We're going to see how we can have a family matters, family that during this specific time, they are united. They have peace and tranquility. The situation and nothing can disturb their peace. One of the characteristics of this family is their spiritual growth, is their spiritual quality and characteristics of this family, that together they help each other. So what will happen here is that the family members help each other, mom and dad and husband and wife, children and all the whole family members, they help each other to grow together. Spiritually first, that's the topic that we're following and we're talking about, right? Spiritual growth and self-improvement. I look at myself, I see that I am a better person. Since I was married, when I was single, I have had an issue with my patience, anger, so forth. Now I'm married, I am more improved. I am a better person, self-improvement. I feel I'm getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of the result of this marriage, because of the result of this family. Therefore, this family and this marriage is growing, is going up and higher and higher. It's not static, it's growing. Imam Ali salatu wasalam, as you know, he said 2 of your days should not be equal, right? You heard about this. Then how about 5 years of my marriage should be equal? No. The second time should be better. The third time should be better. The next time should be better. Each year should be better than the year before. So one of the characteristics that I want all of us to start reflecting and thinking about it, are we improving? The result of this marriage and family, are we improving? Are our family members improving spiritually or what? What happened here is that the family members or in the marriage, husband and wife, they help each other. If one of them has issue, if tired, the other one can help. If one makes a mistake, the other one can remind them gently and respectfully for the sake of correcting it and improving the situation. That's why the hadith from Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِذَا تَزَوَّجَ الْعَبْدُ فَقَدْ أَحْرَضَ نِصْفَ دِينِهِ. Subhanallah. When a servant gets married, half of the deen of that servant is completed. فَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ فِي النِّصْفِ الْبَاقِي. So he has to have a fear of Allah for the other half. What does it mean? As soon as I said, yes, I agree to be the wife of this person, or yes, I agree to be the husband of this lady. So as soon as I say my deen is complete, no. You just started going towards the path that can complete your Iman and your deen. How? Because you have to be patient. Because you have to control your desires. Because you need to control your wrath and anger. Because you need to have tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you have to control your emotions. And yes, as a result, you're working on your nafs. You control your nafs. You want to yell at your wife. You want to yell at your husband. You want to yell at your parents, God forbid, and sometimes you need to control it. What is it? That's a result of ahraza nisfa dina. You're completing your deen because you're working on yourself, because this marriage is helping you to improve yourself, self-improvement, which in the divine perspective is getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is marriage. This is the peace that if during the current time, the wife is so stressed, I'm afraid we get some issue and sick, blah, blah, the husband comes and calm her down. If husband has issue, the wife would calm him down. If children, vice versa, they support each other and help each other in this matter. Share some tips with you regarding the spiritual growth that we have to find. Write down all the areas. Inshallah, this workshop that we have together, we're focusing on both Islamic and academic psychological perspective and tips, so we can combine them and inshallah get a good information from it. And a lot of practical steps I would like to introduce to you. So inshallah, take a note, or if you like, so you don't forget, because you need to practice these things inshallah with your spouse or with your family member. Write down all the areas you believe you need to improve and share and discuss it with your spouse. And with the second one, ask your spouse to help you control your weaknesses. For example, you write down, you see that I get angry so quickly. I am very sensitive, and anything little things would make me agitated. I need to work on my patience, sabr. I don't have enough tawakkul. Write them down for yourself and prioritize them. Which one is that your spouse keeps telling you? Which one is that your parents keep telling you? You need to be more patient. You need to be more organized. You need to be cleaner. You need to work on this and that. So when you keep hearing, you make a list. What are we doing? Muhasabah in Islam. What is muhasabah? Self-reflection. Before someone else tells you, you reflect upon yourself. You want to find your deficiencies, subhanAllah. And this is the beauty and miracle of marriage and family that helps you to focus on yourself. Because usually some people forget, when it comes to tension and dilemma among the family members or marriage, they keep pointing at each other. Your fault, husband. Your fault, wife. If you didn't do it, I wouldn't have done that. No, it's your mother's fault. Oh, your family's fault. Your father did this. Your cousin said that. As if I have no share in this, as I don't blame myself at all. It's like I'm immaculate, God forbid, and everything is fine with me, and it's just your fault. No. Before I blame you, I blame myself. I look at myself. This is the ilahi relationship in the family. As soon as the tension comes, fight happens, but by the way, both husband and wife together. Instead of I blame you, I look at myself. Yes, we fought yesterday. Let me look at myself. What was my fault here? Then I find, for example, here, anger or patience an issue. You know what I would do? I ask you to help me. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He puts you in my way to support me to get better, and vice versa, me for you. There's nothing wrong. I ask my spouse, I ask my family members, please help me. I want to be more patient. Help me. I want to control my anger better. Beautiful. Who's better than them to help me, right? Have regular meeting to check you, analyze your progress, during that. Reward yourself if you see any improvement. It's been a week, you were not, angry or any improvement that you have. In the family, let me give some tips regarding this situation. We're at home most of the time. Mom, dad, families, children at home. My question, I want you to think about it right now. Now that we spend more time together, Are we spending more time for the spiritual activities and programs together? Any rituals? Do we have more dua together? Do we pray together? Okay, before I know that mom was out, dad was out, we're working, busy, children at the school. How about now? How about now at this time of Azan al-Zuhr, for example, we're all at home. Why don't we all stop whatever we're doing and joining each other, family quality time and bond? Let's pray Jama'ah together. Father would stay ahead, forward, and would start the salat. How about once a week dua or something? Recitation of Quran, growth, family improvement, self-reflection here, right? Have some educational meeting regarding the hadith, Quran, ta'aleem and ta'allum, right? Thinking about some having some discussion, ilmi and Islamic discussion together to review some hadith, some point. We're improving. And at the same time, we're keeping ourselves busy. Instead of going to the Instagram, online, Facebook, chat, news, oh my God, did you see the curve of Corona is going high? Oh my God, we're all stressed. Do you know how many people are getting sick in the state or in my city? Oh my God, let's be stressed. Instead of keep focusing on those information might not be helpful for us. We spend more time on those things and distract ourselves that are more helpful for us. The second pillar was about gaining knowledge and experience. Read and learn about marriage. It's important to know that marriage is a field you should be trained in. That's why I love those couples and those newlyweds that before they get married or when they get married early time they come for the sake of experience, advice. They want to make sure they know the ups and downs, what's going on in the marriage. You need information. Keep reading and informing yourself about the marriage. Talk to experienced and successful couples to gain proper experience. Instead of talking to those people who have issue, talk to those people you see they're successful. What makes you successful? What makes you have a better relationship? How your family are so kind and together. What did you do that your family are like this? You know my point? And this is Islamic, recommendation as well. When you see successful people, look at them, look up to them, and then try to learn from them. Look at each other's, look at each marital bumps and have a great experience in terms of this issue that happened, that problems that happen, that things that happen. It's an experience for the sake of a future relationship. Tips. Write down all your wishes in your relationship. Which one have you achieved and which one do you still have to work towards them? Discuss your list with your spouse. Have a journal of your happy or sad experiences. Discuss, with your family members how you can increase those happy occasions and how to decrease the sad ones. What are we doing here is that the family are working together. The whole family is a whole team, that they support each other, that they help each other for the sake of finding the goal that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set. What was that? Peace, which the result of that peace is spiritual growth and the self-improvement, right? So the whole family are working together as a whole team. Imagine a sport team. If they want to be successful, all of them together, they need to help. All of them together, they need to spend time. All of them together need to take their share and their turn to be able to make it successful. Sometimes take it easy. You don't have to, all the time be on top of all cases. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? I've seen a lot of, people comes and talk to us. One of the reasons that family members, they don't have a good relationship with each other, sometimes specifically children and parents, because it's all about the demanding. It's all about, the whole relationship is about do it, don't do it. Do it, don't do it. Why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that. There's no flow relationship here. It's all about demand. So as soon as I see my parents, it's all about, did you do that? I know there's going to be a lecture, or I hear a lot from different children, or there's going to be a negative point why I didn't do something. I was supposed to do something else. It's all about sometimes even go further and being all negative. Rather than that, Yes, we should have discipline. We should follow that. These are all important. However, what matters here is that we pay attention that the relationship is important. In this relationship, the whole family members learn from each other, brothers and sisters. All right. The other aspect was about seeking advice before and after marriage. As I said, marriage is a field of training. Why we're talking about marriage? Because the first component of a successful family is marriage again, right? Do not enter into anything blindly. You know that. If you buy a device for yourself, you don't know how to use it. Before you plug it in, you read the manual. Before you do something with it, you read it. Before you open it, before you turn it on, you read the manual. So when it comes to the relationship, when it comes to family, it's important for us to read and learn about this. Which again, this is an Islamic recommendation that educate yourself, learn more about this. And nothing is more important, as the hadith I read for you, nothing more important than the bina, than the construction of marriage and family in Islam. Because let me tell you why it's so important. Because within this family, people will become spiritual or not. Within the environment of the family, people would decide to be educated or not. Within the environment of family, people would decide to take this route or that route. So everything starts from the family. Share with you a lot of people comes to me when they have some issues, psychological disturbances, problems, issues in family, in marriage, parenting. When we go back together, we see that there were problems during their childhood in the family. How mom and dad, husband and wife, how family members were at that time during the childhood. So that's the importance of that. So therefore, having some sessions, get advice from professionals, get advice from those people who have experience in this, and train yourself regarding that. I humbly request you, if you see that you have a tension, you have a problem that is not getting solved, don't keep pushing with the same style and resolution that you have. It probably doesn't work. One of the mistakes I've seen a lot among people is that they have one style or few styles. They keep practicing those things, although they might not work, but keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing each other to make sure that one finally should work. No, it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you need advice. Go to someone who can help you. And we have to have this mentality among our Muslim communities. Going to an expert, it's an Islamic recommendation. Going to an expert, it is what we do every day. When your car has an issue, you go to a mechanic. When your body stopped working somehow, you go to a doctor. When your computer has problem, you go to those who have technical expertise in those matters, right? When your mind have some disturbances and problem, you go to an expert psychologically to help you with that. When your marriage has problem and you see don't wait until your marriage is at the edge. Do not wait for family members so children and parents, they don't talk to each other anymore. Then I seek advice. It might be too late. The ideal version is that before, at the beginning, we go seek knowledge. The latest, as soon as we see some signs, we go, not that we keep going until we see some problems and issues. Some of the benefits, I just want you to read that going to someone who can help you. You know why I'm saying this? Because I have seen many people years and years having issue. I know some families, and I know you know some families as well. Husband and wife, they're living in pain for 30, 40 years. They keep dragging themselves. And yeah, we have to live for the sake of our children. Why? Is this what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us? No. Ayah Quran, Surah Rum, Ayah 21. What did he say? I created you husband and wife so you can find tranquility and peace. Come on, Maulana. You don't know it's not going to work. We tried a lot of things. So if you get sick, God forbidden, if someone that you love gets sick, as soon as you try some home remedy things and it doesn't work, you give up? You don't. You go to the doctor. If this doctor doesn't help you, you go to the next one. You go to the next one. You go to the next one. You do tawakkul. You pray. You work on it. You go to the expert until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you. Ilahi family, in a spiritual family, is the one they don't give up. They want to reach to the goal of family and marriage that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Rum. You should find tranquility. You know what is the successful family? Successful family is a family that husband cannot wait to come home from work, because home is the source of peace. Wife cannot wait for the husband to come home, because he brings peace to the house, not the tension and problem and fight. Children cannot wait to be home and to see mom and dad in the house. Why? Because they make them have peace, and any issue outside, they find tranquility inside. We have, riwayat from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salatu wasalam. Similar things he said, that whenever I was looking at Zahra salam alayha, Sayyidah Zahra salam alayha, she was taking all my problems and issue away. By being with her, she was calming me down. By spending time with her, these are the things I'm interpreting from my own words. By spending time with Zahra salam alayha, she helped me to forget from all those pain and issue from the society of the time of Amir al-Mu'minin, and vice versa. And how was Amir al-Mu'minin? Please and please don't tell me that, oh, they were Amir al-Mu'minin as Zahra. No, they were the role models of the family, to show us a successful family, to show us a successful marriage. This is how they were doing. If Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is respecting Hazrat Zahra as his daughter, it's not that just he is respecting Sayyidah Zahra necessarily, which he is doing it. At the same time, he is teaching the whole fathers, this is how you treat your daughter, with that much respect, with that much attention. That's how you do. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is in cave Hira, he is in the middle of the, receiving the mission, the most important mission for a human being, for whole mankind. And Jibreel is going to come. That 40 days he's supposed to be away from everyone. In the middle of those time, he's sending Amir al-Mu'minin, says, go tell Khadija that, this is not personal. This is the mission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the middle of the most important mission, you remember your wife? This is a teaching for me and you, brothers and sisters. If he became prophet, it's because of this. If he became Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, if he became Rasul, it's because he became Abd. In the Quran, in Salat, when you say Salawat for Hamd, before Tashahud, what do you say? Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. You don't say Ashhadu Muhammadan rasuluhu wa abduh. Means he is first Abd and then he is Rasul. The reason he's Rasul because is Kafa bi fakhran an akuna laka abda. It's my honor, Amir al-Mu'minin said, for you, Ya Allah, that I'm your Abd. This is the way that Abd would treat people around them. Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Khayrukum khayrukum li ahlihi wa ana khayrukum li ahli." You want to see who is the best Muslim? Subhanallah. The one who prays a lot? No. The one who fasts many, many days? No. The one, khayrukum khayrukum li ahlihi. The best of all you are those who are the best to their families. Subhanallah. And I am the best to my family. Rasulullah said. We see here what's going on. We see here that the emphasis on the whole family matters. Again and again. Because if my family has issue, you know what happened? I want to recite dua in my salat or qunut. I want to say Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have fight after that with my family members, or my wife, my husband, my children, my parents. I'm distracted. I want to think about the growth, the spiritual growth and getting closer to Allah. How am I going to go closer? With the help of who in the family members? They all have issue with each other. So everything starts within. We're going to go to masjid. Ya Allah. With who? No, forget about it, because they have issue with each other. Inside, during the sheltering place and quarantine, how we're treating each other. That's how he helps. Therefore, going to an expert helps you in different aspects, as you just read, help you to have a better communication, how to have, how to resolve your conflicts, how to express yourself, how to agree to disagree, how to negotiate, all those aspects that sometimes, you might have problem with, and you need to be trained in those aspects. I really, really request you to pay attention. But of course, not everyone that comes, we call them expert. They should be definitely professionally be trained. They should understand the culture is very important. Be Muslim and have the Islamic knowledge relatively, and then be having a good review so they can advise you. Why advisor is so important? Let me tell you why. Because sometimes we see that as soon as a wife has an issue, she goes talk to, for example, other sisters or some other people in the community who are not experts. The first thing they might say, just for the sake of supporting her, yeah, why he's doing this, he's not supposed to do this, without analyzing the situation, intriguing her more to think and blaming the husband, and vice versa. A husband has a problem, instead of going talking to, I have to be careful, I have to make a balance all the time when I come to examples. Husband, the same thing. Instead of going talking to experts, go talk to his mother, for example, or someone else, which is detrimental that you bring your family problems into your own family, your mom, your dad, because they don't have an understanding what's going on, and they are biased towards you, and they always blame your spouse. So that's important to pay attention, and it causes a lot of problems. So therefore, rather than that, talking and seeking advice and knowledge from those who are not advised, who are not experts, is better to seek knowledge from those who are experts that can help tremendously. All right, I'm going more towards the dynamic of the family now to see how it can help. The first and foremost, factor related to a success in family and specifically in marriage is the way that we communicate. If right now, God forbid, and you have some issue with your family members right now, I want you to think about it right now. Okay. The major problem you have is the communication. I promise you. Without knowing and talking to you, I tell you one of the major problems, if not the most important problem, is the way that you communicate with each other. Because you cannot convey the message to the other one. You want the other one to understand you and your feelings. You want your mom and your dad to understand you. That's one of the major things you want, right? Could you communicate your feelings with them? You want your children to understand this is the current time, this is a very tough situation for them and for the whole family. You want them to help more, to take chores, blah, blah, blah. Could you communicate clearly and professionally to them so they can help you back? Husband and wife, how you are communicating with each other. First and foremost is communication. In-laws and families, and then, I don't know, husband, the in-laws in either sides. How do you communicate with your in-laws that you see and you feel that there is a problem, an issue? Communication is number one. And communication comes from what? The ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave us this tongue. The most beneficial part of our body and the most dangerous part of our body that can benefit or can destroy. So far, years and years of seeing people coming to office, counseling, talking, coaching, I have never seen any families that they had issue unless one of the biggest issue that they had were in communication. What is the difference between communication and talking? If I ask you, I wish you were next to me so you could respond. But what is the major difference? In talking, someone talks to you, you might just listen to them and there's no specific, result out of that. Oh, that's beautiful. That's it. Look at this. Let's go buy this. Look. In communication, we're looking for a conclusion, natija. We're looking for a result. One of the most important aspect of communication is to be assertive, to share your feelings with the other one, which unfortunately, our culture, we're experts in sometimes not sharing our feelings. We expect a lot, but we don't share our feelings. Assertiveness is the ability to express your feelings and ask for what you want in the relationship. Brothers and sisters, I'm talking to the whole family members, children, parents, spouse, couples, whoever is listening to me. Why don't you share your feelings? When you do this, you make me so happy. Yesterday, you talked to me this way in front of others. That really embarrassed me in front of others. Share your feelings. Let them know how you feel. They both have to be assertive and share their feelings. Rather than assuming their partner can read their mind, they share how they feel. And for that sake, respectfully, they communicate and they share I statement. They don't attack each other in communication. Specifically, I'm saying in the tension, people usually attack each other. And we use some terms and terminology that is absolutely wrong and not fair. You always disrespect me. Really? She always disrespect you? Always? You have never spent enough time with us. He never spent enough time with you? What are you doing? You're criticizing, you're attacking, and you're making the whole environment negative. Rather than that, communicate positively. How? As using I statement, for example, I am feeling we're out of balance. I'm not attacking you, because when I attack you in communication, it's very academic discussion right now, inshallah, if you pay attention. When I attack you, what will happen? You create the defense mechanism, you make it active, and you draw this wall in front of you so you can defend yourself, don't you? As soon as someone attacks you, imagine something attacks you. The first thing you do, you start defending yourself. If someone starts criticizing and attacking you by words, you start going to the defense mood that you want to defend yourself. It's already done. The communication is gone. What if I share my feelings? I am feeling we're out of balance. Then my concern is that recently we're not spending enough time with each other. So that makes me really concerned. What do you think we should do? So I'm not attacking you. I'm sharing my concern with you. I'm not criticizing you. I'm sharing my feelings with you, right? All right. That was number one, to be assertive. It's very important. Second, use active listening. I just chose some of the most important, skills that can help, the most important skills of communication. You can use this, doesn't matter, for family, relationship with friends, professional relationship with other people outside the job. These are the same that you can use for any kind of communication. Active listening is that when you rephrase what you heard. I've seen a lot of people that they fight, and at the end he says, yeah, you said that, so I got upset. He says, no, that's not what I said. They were fighting for half an hour or a few days or a few years because that's not what I thought you said that. So by rephrasing, I say, so I heard that you are concerned because we're not spending enough quality time with each other recently. Is that what you're saying? So he or she says, yes, that's what I exactly say. We're not spending enough time. Or he or she would say, no, that's not what I said. What I said is something else. So before we dive into the communication, we make sure that we're talking about the same topic. All right. 3 tips for that: listening well, understanding well, and responding well. These are the characteristics of communication. You listen well. You don't interrupt each other when the other one is talking. You try to understand what he or she is saying. You don't listen to judge. You don't listen to answer. Sometimes in the situation, we'll listen to answer. I know what you're going to say. It's been 5 years or 30 years, you're repeating the same thing. No, this time listen again. Maybe she's saying something that you missed it. You missed that point. Let's have others' perspective. Maybe they're saying something that I missed that point. And of course, responding well in return, how I have to respond. You can see different examples that they have here. So I heard that you're saying that you're feeling out of balance because, for example, anything, because I'm not spending enough time with you. We're not spending time with each other, blah, 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 anything. So I'm rephrasing before I go, but I listened to you. I paid attention to you. So some of the, here's very important as well. Do not assume at all. Assumption is a poison to the communication, to the relationship. I have seen, people and family and couples hold 30 years of grudge and anger against each other against their in-laws, finally they realized that they made a mistake. They assumed that's what happened. And Islamically, assumption is really, it has no place. Tips for communication. When you want to communicate, make sure you respectfully spend time with each other. If you go back, most of the time you had issue with each other. Either you were driving and you were communicating, or you were watching TV, or you were cooking, or you were doing something else, or you were on your phone. No, spend time, respectfully sit at the table and talk with each other. Make sure you don't have any distractions. Make sure you focus on good qualities. What is important, because again, rather than I just attack you and say you were always like this, I'm going to be firm as a Muslim, and I want to see you have a lot of good qualities. Yes, recently I feel you're not respect me enough. I feel as a son, you're not respect me enough. As a daughter, you're not respect me enough the way that you talk to me. But is it all the time? They don't have any other qualities? Or no, I appreciate most of the time you do this. Recently, I don't know, because of the situation or what, you're not, respecting me enough, so that I have issue with. Be assertive, we talk about it. Avoid criticism. There's no khair in criticism. You can share your concern with each other. Share your concern with each other. Don't criticize each other. Do not blame each other in communication. Again and again, I've seen couples a lot, brothers and sisters, spend a lot of time to prove whose fault was that, which leads in fight. It's a roller coaster. You did this. No, you did this. If I did it, it's because of you. No, it's because of you. Back and forth, back and forth. And at the end, they're tired. There's no result. There's no conclusion. Tension left. I always say this statement: rather than blaming each other, blame the problem. Focus on the issue. Focus on the issue. And then spend your energy on finding the solution for your issue. That's the most important thing. Seek counseling and advice if you need, and learn about conflict resolution. All right. The other aspect is about love and attachment among the couples or family members. Keep your early love, specifically for couples, early love alive. Be creative in your relationship. Make sure you spend enough time. So let me say it's very important here. During the current time specifically, we're seeing each other a lot, 24/7, most of the time. That by itself is tiring. You need to spend some time for yourself. You need to be alone. You need to have time for yourself, even half an hour or 2 hours a day. Depends on the dynamic of your family. Make sure you spend enough time for yourself. Do whatever you want to do. Be away from each other. You're in the other room. He's in the other room. Children. Do sometimes, yes, quality time, family time. We're going to talk about them, but sometimes alone, so you can do whatever you want to do. Different ways to prove your love to your spouse, to your family members. Make sure you spend enough time with each other, and have others' perspective. It's very important. Have others' perspective. In the role of the current time, for example, how mom is taking responsibility, how dad is the situation, that the dad is in the situation, how children are, they're teenagers being in the house for 3 months, more than 3 months. What do we expect from them? That's tough. That's difficult. Yes, they might spend more time on here and there, but we have to have the flexibility. We have to understand others' perspective and have others' perspective. So these tips that I shared so far was for the first component of the family, the skills of communication, the skills of interacting with each other and understanding each other. And again, the most important factor was the, like I said, the communication skill. That was very important. But nowadays, we're dealing with a lot of emotions, brothers and sisters, a lot of emotions. How do we see that? What are the emotions? Because when we say manage your emotions, some people think we have positive and negative emotions. No, we have emotions. It's us, how we interpret our emotions. The feeling of sadness is not negative. Feeling of pain is not negative. What do you mean? I mean, if you don't have pain, if you don't have these blessings of Allah, that you feel pain when your head is hurting. So how do you know something is going wrong? So because you feel pain, you take the medicine, you go to the doctor, you get better, right? So it's not negative or positive. We keep dividing, segregating. Oh, he has an anxiety. Oh, that's negative. No, anxiety is the result of something that is telling him, sweetheart, something is wrong. You need to fix it. He's getting depressed. Yeah, this is reminding her that something, your lifestyle is out of balance. You need to pay attention. But how do we know that emotions are disturbing? Yes, when it comes, make the relationship or friendship conflict. Brings conflict into the relationship. That's we know, okay, this emotion is having issue, is causing problem for me. Difficulties in relating to others. I cannot relate to others because I get angry so quickly. I don't have enough patience, so my relationship with others are impacted by that. So these are the things I will talk about. Trouble at work or at the school. I cannot regulate my emotion. That's why I can listen well at work or at the school. So these are the problems they have to, focus on and find solution for them. But what I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, is that your emotions, you can turn them on and off. It's not like a water tap that you turn it on and off. So I have anxiety, turn it off. I have depression, turn it on or off. No, this is a wrong perception. No, we need to manage our emotion. We need our emotion. We need sadness. We need anxiety. We need depression. All these things to a certain level. As soon as I feel I'm down, I'm depressed, I know that I've been spending a lot of time in the house during the quarantine. I need to spend sometimes outside. Yes, observe all the health recommendations that we have. Sometimes go for a walk, get into a car with your family, have a safe drive around the area or neighborhood or where you have. So I know that I have to do something, so look for them and how to manage them. Number one, if you want to take a note, these are very, very important tips. Number one, recognize the impact of your emotions on you. How your emotions are disturbing you. You're recently getting stressed a lot of anxieties and problems. All right, so tell yourself how it's impacting your life. For example, I can't spend enough time with my family. I'm so agitated. I'm so stressed all the time. As soon as I spend time with family, I get, nervous. I fight with. First and foremost, cognitive behavior therapy for yourself. Make sure you go through it and you try to analyze the impact of those emotions that you have. That's number one, will help you a lot to see good and bad of it. Don't fight with your emotions. Manage them. A lot of people go to psychologists. They say this: can you help me not to have anxiety anymore? Can you help me not to be stressed anymore? As if they're dealing with their enemies. They want to put them outside the door so that, sometimes during the week, the car comes and as a trash, they take them away. They think they have to fight with themselves and with their emotion. It's very delicate what I'm going to say. Do not fight with your emotion. It's you. It's part of you. Deal with it. Manage it. If you feel sad because your husband said something to you, because your wife said something, or because of the current situation, because your parents did something, sit down, talk to yourself, to the other side of yourself. So I know that you are upset recently. Yeah, literally talk to yourself. And Islamically, you know that. This is part of the muhasabah and self-reflection. I know that you are sad recently because, the way that you have been treated is this way. That's why it makes you sad. The way that they're talking to you makes you sad, right? Or you're stressed because you're in the house a lot and you're spending you're not seeing your friends that way. That's why you're feeling down, right? So talk to each other. Don't fight with it. I know that you're feeling this way. So you're to tell yourself, you're trying to tell me something. I know that you're to the other side of you. I know that you're being so sensitive. And as soon as some people, they say something, you want to help me to protect myself. But I think you're too sensitive here. What can we do to reconcile? Yeah, you reconcile with yourself. SubhanAllah, brothers and sisters, this is deen. Man عرف نفسه فقد عرف ربه. The one who recognizes himself, herself, would recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning what? When you focus on yourself, you find your deficiencies. And as a result, you fix your deficiencies for the sake of better relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Identify what you're feeling. Sadness, happiness, anxiety, whatever. How you can do it, you sit down with yourself and you ask yourself, what am I feeling now? Literally, sit down and write it down. What am I feeling? I'm feeling sad. Why I feel this way? What happened? What leads to this? I can see my friends recently. I feel stressed because of the current situation. My family members don't understand me, whatever reason. The way that my mom, my dad talked to me yesterday. Can I interpret this situation differently? Yeah, my mom and dad, they don't respect me anytime. They push me to do things. Oh, wait. Can I interpret this situation differently? What do you mean? I mean, yes, mom and dad are home as well all the time. They're stressed as well, and they want me to spend more time to help them, to support them. Oh, that might be the reason. That I had a client a few days ago that it was about the in-laws and parenting. I mean, relationship with in-laws. At the beginning, they were like, oh, the mother-in-law did this and that because she's like this and that. I'm like, all right, okay, I heard you. Is there any other possibilities that she's doing it because of this? And they started thinking, well, yeah, maybe she's doing it because she thinks she's helping us. So she thinks she's helping. It's not that she's going to annoy you or to hurt you or to disturb you. Is there any interpretation? That's going to help a lot. What should I do with this feeling? Should I yell? Should I shout? Should I break things? God forbidden. Yeah, I just feel I want to break something right now. Is there a better way to react to my feelings? Well, I'm recognizing myself. I'm exploring myself. How many times we did this and then we couldn't manage our emotions? Well, yeah, maybe if I take a walk when I'm angry, that would help a lot. Maybe if I change the location, that would support me. Maybe if I distract myself, I won't fight with my family members. What if when I calm down, I will go talk to my parents and I tell them, share my feelings, how I feel. Maybe that will help. Good. So you're managing emotion rather than sitting down on being anxious or sad, or you want to what? You want to deal with it in the best way. All right. Okay. So find your own way to relax. Tell yourself, calm down, deep breathing, mindfulness, anything that you find. Some people, when they cook, they calm down. Some people, when they work with something, some people, when they write down, some people, they need to read a book. Some people, they need to take a walk. Whatever is the skills that can help you to calm down, practice those things at this moment to manage your emotion. Find a solution not to let the situation happen again. All right, I feel angry because when I am in this situation, what can I do so I don't let this situation happen again? All right. Okay. Some other tips I have for the controlling emotions, which is one of the most important things. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah to support you, to help you to have control over your emotions. What we know about, forget about Ahlul Bayt. What we know about our urafa, our ulama, the great arif that we know a lot, and urafa that we know, they are those who have control over their desires and over their emotions. Nothing makes them so happy that they be thrilled and they make too much. Nothing can make them so upset and angry about this dunya. No, the only thing make them so upset if when they see the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in a good status. Nothing in this dunya make them down. You want an example? Hazrat Zainab Salamullah alayha. In the middle of tragedy, that the biggest musibah for samawat wal ard doesn't make her so depressed and down that she cannot do and fulfill her mission and responsibility. That is the wali of. This is the one who is the arif billah. Because she has control over her emotion. Physically, that's tiring. Physically is destroying her. 72. How many of Shaheed, how many of them are the family members of her? But she's controlling her emotions. Why? The power from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we say, divine relationship that can help a lot. And we have a lot of hadiths. Don't make the happiness of this dunya to keep you away from Allah, to be so thrilled. Don't let the sadness of this dunya to make you so sad to have issue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because all this are temporary, comes and goes. You always have a choice. Do not react immediately when you're under emotions. Don't react immediately. Believe me, I do it myself, practice it. Write it down. You want to text your beloved one or someone else or friends or something wrong, text it, write down the text, type it down, don't send it. Tell yourself, I want to send tomorrow morning. I want to send 2 hours after that. When you come down, go read it again. Believe me, you're going to say, oh my God, alhamdulillah, I didn't send it. That was so embarrassing. Write it down. Write down all your emotion, relieves your emotion. Don't send it. Go back again. If you still something, if you edit it, and then don't react immediately. You're going to regret. See the bigger picture. See the interpretation of other aspects and forgive your emotional triggers. Yeah, sometimes it's their fault. I know. Sometimes it's your spouse's fault. You're right. Sometimes it's your children's fault. Sometimes it's your parents' fault. Yes. Sometimes it's your in-laws' fault. You're right. Sometimes it's your fault. You want others to forgive you? Bismillah, forgive others. That's how important it is. You want Allah, you have hadith, you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you in night of Qadr, you want, Bismillah, forgive others. Practice it. All right, let's move forward. We don't have that much time. How to establish quality time with family, specifically during this time. A flashback. We talk about the components of family members, the components of family. We talk about the marriage, the relationship between family members, the relationship between husband and wife, mother and father. We talk about emotional regulation and how we can, you see that hierarchically going, and how we can establish quality time with the family. Before I go forward, let me tell you what the importance of quality time. Number one, when you spend good time with the family, you strengthen the bond with the whole family members. You show your children that they matter to you. You care about them. They are important. You know, sweetheart, how many times you spend time with your phone? Do you know that sometimes when you look at yourself, you're more attached to your smartphone than your son? Unfortunately. You're more attached to your device, to your iPad, to your computer, to your laptop. Doesn't matter if you're working or not, but you know that you're more attached to them than your daughter? You know, you're paying more attention to the sickness of your laptop than your daughter sometimes. Yeah, that's why as soon as she goes out and someone says, oh, you look so beautiful, her heart starts bumping, or, oh my God, someone could see me, my beauties and al-tamasada. Because your father didn't pay attention. Yeah, work. I'm talking about all family members. Sometimes you're more, how do you want to say you are more important, the whole world to me? My daughter, my son, my wife, my husband. Quality time. Wait, I have to take the call because my boss is calling. No, boss, sorry, I can't talk to you. Because I'm talking to my real people who are more important in my life than you. Who are they? My family, my wife, my husband, my children, my parents. So number one, the importance of quality time is what? It will strengthen the bond among the family members. It will help to show the values. By spending time with our family members, we're teaching each other and our children that these are our values. Family is our value. I have a friend that, mashallah, he's 90, a year old in Southern California. Every Monday, he has a family gathering. Children, they're grown up, they have, grandchildren and a lot of people. Every Monday, everybody's together. We want this. Every single one of us, we want this. So we have to practice this so our children will learn, right? It will help to show our kids that they matter. It will teach them to learn new things and understand another. How do we spend more time and quality time? Pray together. Recite dua together. Right now in shelter in place, you have no excuse. At least once a week. How about that? Spend time with each other, all the family members. Let's recite one dua together with a translation. Have at least one meal together. Nowadays, inshallah, you can have more than one, at least one meal together. Not doing shelter in place. Shelter in place at least 2 times. Now we say during the regular time, we go out, we're not together at least once, right? Do some activities together, exercise together, go out, walk together, run together, do something together, some fun activity. Be creative, do some creativity. Carpentry, painting, I don't know, whatever you can do some creative ideas, some creative activities together. The whole family members. If you have games, board games, if you have activities, you have projects, you can build something together during this time, do it. Quality time, spending more time. Creative project, as I said, any creative project that you can find. Go, I don't know, start gardening together. The whole family member. Before just mom were doing it, dad was doing it. Now the whole family member get into the garden. You know, someone clean, someone put the seeds in, someone, you know, waters, anything you can do, bring creative idea that can help you. Read together. Find a book that the whole family would like to read. Sit down. Each of us, we're going to read 1 page, for example, 5 pages per night. That's it. Not too many times, you know. Together, have fun. And then at the end, you see that we finished something together. Go out together at least once a week. Like I said, get into your car, go drive around somewhere beautiful. Walk together somewhere that you like outside the house. During this time, being inside a lot, it's not a good recommendation. Turn off your phone, please. When you're spending quality time, we don't want anyone to disturb. Turn off your phone. Don't worry. 20 years ago, many people didn't have phone and they were still alive, you know. Play with your kids. If you have little ones, you need to go to the room, you need to play with them. And I'm talking to you, Mr. Father. Yes, you need to go to the room, sit on the floor, eye to eye, play with your daughter and your son. Yes, and you need to become a kid. You need to talk like a kid. Through the game, you can teach them the social skills. Through the game, you can show them and teach them different, you know, aspects of Islam through the, you know, the play that you have. This is the best way, psychologically, the best way to teach them is through the games. Have once a week family night. This is the sunnah of Allama Majlisi, rahmatullah alayhi. We have in his history that once a week he had a family quality time. On Thursday night, he had the family together, the dua together, probably had a discussion together. What I want to add into this, for example, you can have once a week, 1 hour, anytime you want together. Part of it, some dua, short dua together. Part of it, some discussion. Tonight is Mahdi's time to go recite the hadith for us and interpret it. Tomorrow, the next week, Zahra is going to do this. Dad is going to do. Portion of this game, fun, have activity. Portion of this, if we're going to watch movie together. Portion of this, let's sit down and discuss. How did we feel this week? How could we improve our week? What can we do for the next week? Subhanallah. Is there any emotion, you know, within you, you didn't talk to us? Yes, I feel so sad, you know, this week because of this and that. Yesterday, this happened. Subhanallah. We are assertive, we're sharing our feelings with each other, right? How to resolve. Okay, that was about, again, I have to go quickly regarding the time. So this is how many other tips are there in terms of how to have a quality time. I just shared few things that can help you. Get out of your phone, by the way. Don't spend too much on the phone. You don't need to check the curve of the coronavirus 2-3 times a day, please. Just you're not going to miss anything, please. You will hear a lot. So that makes you have a better psychology and mental health, inshallah. So the last part, I think, is the last part. If there's anything happen, a conflict happens. So I will ask, before I go forward, please let people ask their questions. If there anyone have questions, sister, let them ask questions so we can take advantage of the time. They can type the questions so you can manage it. And then I think we're going to be done, inshallah, quickly. So we quickly go to the Q&A after that. How to resolve conflicts. With all those things that I mentioned, sometimes the conflicts are there. The conflicts are there. How can we solve the conflicts? And it's a skill that we have to learn to be able to manage the conflict and resolution, find a solution for it. Number one, if there is a conflict, calm down. It's not the end of the world. The communication play a huge role here. Set a time and location so you can go talk to each other. It can be between parent and children. It can be between spouse. It can be among siblings. Set the time. All right. It can be 3, 4, 5 of us. We'll sit down. We sit down tomorrow at 4 p.m. Inshallah. We'll have a meeting with each other regarding that conflict to try to see if we can find a solution for that. Second, define the problem as precisely as possible. First, before we move forward, what are we talking about? We are talking about we are not spending enough time with each other. That's it, period. Anything else? No, we're going to talk about this. One topic and one target at the moment. Excuse me. Don't bring the whole world. One topic at the moment. We're going to talk about, for example, what else? Recently, the way that we talk to each other, we feel it's not respectful. Our communication way and the language that we use. Bismillah, let's talk about it. Next, list all the past attempts that you tried and didn't work. To spend enough time with each other. Before we said, let's go out once a weekend. It didn't work. Write it down. You need to write down any past attempts. What is the good about this? The good thing about this is that you don't repeat the same thing that is not working, which I've seen a lot of people keep repeating things that are not working. But in this case, you know, and you don't repeat those things that didn't work. Next step, brainstorm and write down everything that possibly might work. All right, how about we have a schedule? Have a schedule per week to spend family time, go out for a walk, cook together, play together, walk together. All right, that's a good idea. Next, evaluate each of them. Well, one of the things is that forget about going out. Come on, this is not a good idea. We have to go out, cross and check until you find few of them and you agree to practice one finally. You can have the list of 5 or 10 things, potential solution for your conflicts. And then what? At the result, you go to one thing and you practice it. Then you set a time to evaluate. For example, it says, we're going to practice it for a week. We're going to come down to see how we're doing. If it's good, we're going to continue. If it's not good, we're going to change. Seek help from a professional if it doesn't work. So these are just to let you have, if you want to take a note. So these are the tips that can help you, inshallah, to resolve very quickly, to help to resolve your conflict, inshallah. All right. Very good. So these are the whole information about the dynamic of the family, different aspects. There are a lot more. I just tried to pinpoint and mention a few important points regarding the whole family during this time. One last thing I can say, and inshallah we'll go to the questions, is that this is a time for all of us. The whole family together should help as a team to pass this time. It's not a one-man show. It's not just mom and dad. It's not just you understand me. It's about the whole family together, set the goal that inshallah we want to help each other to pass this time as healthy as possible, inshallah. So at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would help us to look back and we say, alhamdulillah, it was a tough time throughout the history, but our family could pass it. Indeed, this time helped us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, that was a test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tested us, but as a result, we could get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recite salawat ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammadin wa ajjal farajahum wa lana a'da'ahum ajma'in.
Thank you so much, Seyed, for your presentation. That was extremely, extremely beneficial. So we'll move on to the Q&A portion. Apologies in advance if we're not able to address your questions. There's quite a few and we're a little limited on time. So the first question is, what suggestions would you give to parents when their teenager challenges their authority?
Okay, good question. What can we do? Can you repeat the question again so everyone can hear it?
Yes, of course. What suggestions would you give to parents when their teenager challenges their authority?
Good. So number one, it's important to know that you have the authority. By fighting with them or arguing with them, you are disrespecting your authority. Imagine a teacher in a class keeps fighting with the students so they do their homeworks. Not only that doesn't work, that they don't do their homework, they're going to disrespect and say, well, he's always fighting with us. So number one, don't argue. Don't fight with them. Second, try to find out your relationship with each other. How are you treating each other, husband and wife? How the wife is respecting the authority of husband, and how the husband is respecting the authority of the wife. You're going to find a lot of things here. If we respect each other verbally, by reaction, behaviorally, believe me, children are learning. What are children? Children are the result, then the fruit of our tree, us. Where do they learn things? Observing us. How we support each other, how we talk to each other, how we respect each other, they're learning. Going back, you might find a lot of things there because we taught them to be this way. If that's the case, we have to change ourselves first. We have to, yes, husband and wife, mom and dad, they have to start changing their style of communication, treating each other nicely. I said that again. That's why I started with marriage, topic. Impossible almost that you will have a correct, successful parenting without having a successful marriage. Because you want to teach them, you want to tell them, respect my authority, right? The kid would come and says, well, you don't know how to treat my mom and dad. How am I supposed to, mom, you don't know how to treat dad. Dad, he doesn't know how to treat mom. How are you supposed to ask, how are you asking me to respect you? So I'm going with the foundation, by the way, right? So if that's the case, fix the marriage first. That's how we do in our sessions with a lot of clients, and the result is awesome, amazing. The kid comes to me and says, there's a miracle in mom and dad relationship, and as a result, he's and she's more respectful to parents. Second, if there is a problem, have discipline, but don't argue and don't fight. Third, communicate with your children. Yes, teenagers are at the age that they need to express their feelings, express their autonomy. They're seeking, they're in the identity crisis time. Sit down with them, communicate with them respectfully. Sweetheart, I know you want to prove yourself this way. I know you want to do something that you think is correct. Let me tell you my perspective. Why, as mom and as a dad, I tell you this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. Then at the end, let's sit down together and decide about it. Authority doesn't mean dictatorship. Do it because I'm a father, I'm telling you. Don't do it because, no. Authority means you understand me and my perspective because I know better sometimes than you, right? Talking to each other. I had a client very quickly. He came to me and says, my teenager recently, he doesn't say salam to me. Whenever, he doesn't talk to me that well, nicely, blah, blah. I said, how do you do? He said, anytime I see him, I says, don't. This is too late. Turn it off. Go to sleep. Anytime I want to correct him, he doesn't get it. I told him, you know what you should do? This time when you see him, don't correct him. Because he expects you, oh my God, dad came again. He's going to tell me don't work with my phone. This time go to his room and says, sweetheart, how are you doing? Did you find any new information from your phone? He's going to be shocked. Excuse me, dad, you're supposed to fight with me right now. Why are you not fighting? This is not the permanent solution. This is the beginning. All right, go with it. And then when the situation is calm, sweetheart, later on, the reason I'm saying not too many times with the phone, because you might hurt you, your personality, your future. This is the things, your school. Still, we need to have discipline, but how to have discipline? Very short answer. That was that. Go ahead, sister. Next one.
Thank you, Sayed. I really liked your point about authority. The next question is, my parents have had a bad marriage for years. I'm afraid of getting married as well, in case I will end up in the same way. How can I get over this fear?
Beautiful question. I wrote a book about that. Inshallah, quickly it's going to be published soon. Inshallah, you can have it specifically about why should I get married if I see a lot of problem. But what I can tell you is this. A lot of people, they go outside and they have an accident. Why aren't you afraid of going outside? A lot of people would have a business and they bankrupt. Why aren't you afraid of having a business? A lot of people eat a lot of things. So people do a lot of things, and because of some reasons and some mistakes, they have issue. Yes, if we repeat the same issues, we're going to have the same result. If I pass the street without looking left and right, most probably I might going to have an accident. But what if I pass the street by being carefully watching around? I'm not going to probably have an accident. Mom and dad had some issue. I understand that's number one reason that specifically girls sometimes and our ladies, they don't want to get married because they have seen the result. But recognize what caused them to have issue. You don't repeat those issues. Talk to an expert about this. This is what happened. That's what happened. What can I do? So, and let me tell you what, if imagine the street behind your house, if 5 cars, imagine 200 cars pass every day from that street. If 5 cars a day or 2 cars a day have an accident there in that intersection, what are you going to say? This streets always have an accident. You're not going to look, oh, 200 cars passing, only 2 cars have accident every day. So how do you say all cars have accident? This is how our mind works. Oh, everyone going to have issue with marriage. No. Look at all those people who have wonderful marriage. Look at those people who have beautiful bond with their spouse and wife. So therefore you see that you can find the steps, take the right steps, and the result will be, inshallah, professional steps, and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the best things. Next question.
Thank you. The next question is, what are back home ways of communication that we should actually learn or hold on to that are better than Western ways of communication that we are used to?
Back home.
Let's, so I have issue with these divisions and dividing and segregating it. Let's see what are the best way of communication. All right. We have the hadith from Rasulullah says, go learn knowledge, even if it's China. At that time, Saudi Arabia to China is a long time, right? Long distance. You should learn from anything and anyone that is correct, rather than ourselves, our culture, our things, our language. Let's go see what are the best things. Number one, guaranteed way is the way of Allah and Ahlul Bayt and Quran. That's for sure. And then any other solution, any other recommendations that we see comes from, a correct sources and experts, they approve them. Why not? We can use them. But that's why I'm saying that all these skills that we mentioned about communication, these are extracted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, recommendation, Ahlul Bayt, how they treat each other, how they talk to each other, the way that Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he talked to his daughter. We extracted this from anything. And here's, I think, the point that I can tell you. The border is here. If there's any recommendation from Westerns or non-Islamic world and secular world that is against the Shara of Islam, against the Ahkam of Islam, throw it to the trash. Don't think about them. If it's against Allah, against Ahlul Bayt, against Ahkam of Deen, the most professional experts in the world said, Khuda Hafiz, I don't need it. If it is not against the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ahlul Bayt and Ahkam of Islam, then we try to authenticate to see if it's correct, then we use them. Next one. Please.
So we only have a few minutes left. So this will be the last question. We are seeing constant examples of many other cultural and religious groups losing their second or third generation. If a couple is from the US and has kids born and raised here, and they have extended family who are not practicing, what are the chances of these kids being practicing or muttaqi?
So the question is that the extended family are not Muslim.
They're not practicing.
I'm assuming they're like converts.
Not practicing.
Not practicing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not practicing, but the actual mom and dad are practicing?
Yeah, so it's mostly about the extended family.
Okay, so a good question. We have a lot of people ask questions here. Number one, the first society that children, as I mentioned, they grew up in is the family. I mean, the house, the environment inside the house. Number one job that we have to strengthen the Iman of the family inside the house. When I say Iman, I don't mean just to pray. When I say Iman, I don't mean just to fast. I mean the akhlaq, husn khulq, the way that mom and dad talk to each other, the way that dad called me as a son, the way that mom respects me. They're seeing, they're learning. So we are the role model, the way that we teach Islam to them. And we always have this title that we are Muslim parents, right? So at the end, our children are going to judge us as Muslim parents. Some children, they might have issue with Islam because Muslim parents, they did this issue, right? So first, strengthen the level of Iman inside the family. And Iman means the whole puzzle: communication way, respect, husn khulq, how you treat each other, sabr, tawakkul, patience, anything else, right? And of course, rituals as well: dua, ibadat, taqwa, and everything that we have. So that's number one. Second, second is that educate your children depends on the age. Educate your children depends on their age about what is right, what is wrong. What is right is what Islam says right. What is wrong is what Islam says wrong, right? And educate them. There are some people that they do not follow these orders. As if, you see, sweetheart, if I'm talking to my 5-6 years old, you see, sweetheart, some people don't have a job because they might have not studied well, for example. Some people, they don't have, because these things happen. That's why mom says you have to study. That's why dad says if it's teenager, give them more professional examples. The reason, yes, some people, the doctor says take their medicines, don't eat this, don't eat that, they eat it and they get sick. So some people don't follow the advice of experts and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people are doing this. This is a second, to educate them. Third, limit the relationship as much as possible. If you see that in someone's house there is a virus, you won't go to that house. If it's at home for Saleh Rahim, you can call them, you can, text them. Somehow you can have the at-home relationship, but they should know that these are your values. I don't want to go to a party that is mixed. I don't want to go to a wedding party that my children see, men and women are together, God forbid, and there's something else. There's a virus. I don't want to take my children to somewhere that is virus, right? So for that sake, limit the relationship, teach them. So that's why gradually they will understand. Depends on how we treat them. If we be a good role model, mom and dad and the environment of the house, if we be the good role model and we explain well and we take the steps, most probably the effect of the extended family are not going to be very aggressive and intense. However, we have to be careful. It's important. Some extended family are close to the family. So these are all matters here.
Thank you so much. So unfortunately, we are out of time, but we do have a lot of questions, and there were a few people who actually were asking for your contact information so that they can reach out to you about any questions or problems they might be facing. So Seyed, if you can please put your email.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, I'll leave it here.
So everyone, please note his email and number down, and if you have questions, you can just reach out to him directly. Thank you so much, Seyed Hadi Yassin, for your time today.
Thank you so much for the
presentation
opportunity.
really, really helpful, and inshallah, we can all benefit from it and implement it in our own houses and relationships.